take a fast revision to the major concepts from DevOps. So, five major components are there, or services there in Azure DevOps. So, first is boards, where we can plan and track the work जो आज हम देखने वाले हैं. So today we'll focus on the boards. Second is reports. So repos will get you Git version control. So repos will get you the Git version control. So you will manage your versioning. Then the pipeline, where we'll configure the CI/CD automation. Then we'll have the test plans, manual and automated, then artifacts, the package management. तो ये तो हमने देखा है. So Azure Boards में we can create the work items, Kanban storage, sprint planning, query, dashboard, integration. Report me, so what we can do, so we can have the branch policies, commits, rollbacks, merging, diffing, blame, history, code search. So this is about your source code management. Pipelines will help you to automate. Once you push, it will automate build and test, staging, approval, and production. This is the most important and required feature of Azure DevOps. Test plan. So here we can create the plan for quality assurance, manual testing, exploratory testing, automated integration, testability. And artifacts enables us to integrate or configure workflow. So it will help you do the package management in your workflow, like NuGet and PMNOW and Python, Cargo. Now today we will focus on the boards. So all this together will plan. Boards will do the planning. Repo will manage the code. Pipelines will manage the build. Test plans will manage the testing. And pipelines again manage the deployment. And artifact will help you to do the packaging. Now, before going to Azure Boards, we'll have a small introduction. We need some terms like elliptic, storage, task. So थोड़ा सा ओवरव्यू लेते हैं स्क्रम का. So what is basically Scrum? So Scrum is a framework. It is team-based, and this framework is basically used for continuous improvement. The Scrum is lightweight, agile framework for managing and completing complex products through iterative development. Scrum एक lightweight, agile framework है, जिससे which will help you managing complex and completing products through iterative development. Team-based, so small cross-functional teams collaborate in short cycles called sprints, delivering working increments regularly. Team-based है, थोड़े टीम बना सकते हैं, क्रॉस-फंक्शनल टीम भी बना सकते हैं, कोलैबोरेट कर सकते हैं. इसमें sprints होता है, and through a sprint will create a delivering work increment regular. Continuous implemented teams inspect and adapt through ceremonies like sprint review, retrospective, improve over a time. So इसमें कुछ चीजें होती epics. Epics are large bodies of work planning, spanning and multiple sprints. Epics are, we can say, a large deliverable item, or we can say module or submodule. Span across the multiple sprints. Features the functional compatibility that deliver value. They are the actual functional some capabilities that deliver some value. Then user stories are the requirement from the user's perspective. Tasks and bugs are actionable work items within the story. So epic. So what is the definition of epic? Epic is large bodies of a work that can be broken down into smaller features and user stories. They represent significant business initiatives. So typically span multiple sprints or even releases. They are too large to complete in a single sprint. Purpose to provide a high level view of what needs to be accomplished, helping with roadmap planning and prioritization. So prioritization कर सकते हैं. So for example, so customer portal, which contains login, dashboard, profile management, and support page. So Epic is the larger item from your, we can say, application. Now features. So features are functional capabilities that deliver tangible user value. So what are the features? So features are mid-level work items that represent a specific piece of functionality. They sit between epics and user stories in the hierarchy, are small enough to be delivered within a release cycle. So features are small deliverable, we can say, item that we can deliver. It sits between epic and the user stories. So what is the relationship of, we can say, features with epic? Each feature belongs to an epic, and epic, like a customer portal, may have features like user authentication, dashboard analytics, and profile management. Now, if you look at the characteristics, so deliver a distinct testable capability can be broken into multiple user stories. So typically span 2 to 4 sprints owned by the product owner. Best practices: write features from business perspective, keep them small enough to track progress, ensure each feature delivers measurable value, use acceptance criteria for clarity. Now, user storage. So user storage हम boards में नहीं use करने वाले. It's not available until you go for the agile. The user storage requirements expressed from end user's perspective. The user story is nothing but the requirement, but it's not your technical feature. So it's from the perspective of end user. As a type of user, I want an action so that I will get this benefit. So this is one example of your user story. So this is one example of user story. So here we have the user stories. The user stories are the requirement expressed from the end user's perspective. So as a type of user, I want this action and I will get this benefit. So such kind of things. So invest criteria, independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, testable, acceptance criteria, clear condition that must be made for a story to be considered that written in given when the format. यहाँ for example है story का as a returning customer, I want to view my order history so that I can track past purchases and reorder items. So यूजर स्टोरेज में इन्वेस्ट क्राइटेरिया हो गया एक्सेप्टेंस क्राइटेरिया एक एग्जांपल भी यहाँ पे बता दिए now we are going to focus on the task. So what are the tasks? Tasks are smallest unit of work in Scrum. They represent specific actionable piece of work needed to complete a user story. तो यूजर स्टोरी को फुलफिल करने के लिए कंप्लीट करने के लिए टास्क इज a small we can say actionable thing that we can do, we can implement. It can be a design task or development task or testing task, or we can say the task is an actionable piece of work in a feature that we are implementing. The task comes under the feature. So characteristics typically 1 to 8 hours of effort, small होता है, actionable होता है, एक से 8 घंटे में खत्म हो जाएगा, one day activity. Feature is little larger and epic is more larger. So typically 1 to 8 hours of effort assigned to a single team member. The task is always assigned to a single team member. Have clear completion criteria. The task will have exact completion criteria, acceptance criteria, updated daily during stand-up. So whatever the stand-up meeting happens in a Scrum, so it will be updated in daily meeting. Now task types, so development task, testing task, documentation task, design, coding, review, deployment. Best practices keep tasks small and specific. If the task takes more than a day, break it down further. So always link tasks to their parent user stories or features. Bugs, we already know this. So tracking and resolving the defects in the product. So bugs are the so bug represent defects, errors, or unexpected behavior in the product. They are tracked as the work items alongside the task and user stories. तो टास्क के साथ चलेगा, यूजर स्टोरेज के साथ चलेगा. सो यूजर स्टोरेज बार बार बढ़ा रहा है, बट जो हम बोर्ड यूज करने वाला है सो Azure DevOps में उसमें यूजर स्टोरी नहीं रहेगा, फीचर रहेगा. So it works along with the feature or your task. The severity levels critical, high, medium, low. What is the bug life cycle? New, active, resolved, tested, closed. The bugs can be responded if the bug fix doesn't work or causes regression. ये आपको already पता होगा. Best practices include steps to produce expected versus actual result, screenshot, environment details, partitionized based on the user, we can say path. So a sprint. So a sprint is a time box iterations where work gets done. So a sprint is just like your any dashboard where we can track the work, but a sprint has one distinct feature. So it is time box iterations. The time-based iteration. So you will have some time period, and in that time period, you need to perform this things to that. So the first step in a sprint is a sprint planning. Select backlog items, define a sprint goal, Daily stand-up, so 15-minute sync on progress and backloggers. So there will be a small meeting every day. Daily stand-up meeting, I'm calling it. The sprint planning, maybe create the backlog items and there we can say sprint goals, what they want to achieve. And daily stand-up will have just thinking. So what is the progress and what is the backlog? And development team builds, test and integrate work. A sprint review, demo completed, work with stakeholders. A sprint retrospective, reflect and improve team process. There are the stages, but we don't need to worry about all this. So you will be a part of either one stage. You are sitting somewhere. You might not be participating in planning, but you are working in a daily stand-up and development or sprint review. Now, sprint duration typically 1 to 4 weeks. So is the most common. When started, the sprint length stays consistent. So it's just we can say planning and tracking your work similar to any other dashboard, but it is time bound. It's in a time frame and it has its own flow. So you need to go with that particular flow. Workflows and states. So how work items move through the development process and the states. So new work item created, not yet started, active, in progress, being worked on, resolved, were completed, awaiting validation, closed, verified, and accepted. Common workflow for type your story workflow, user story workflow, new, active, resolved, closed. Bug workflow, new, active, resolved, tested, closed. Task workflow, to do, in progress, and done. Now, areas and iterations. So, areas is a team structure. So, area forms a team structure. Areas define how work is organized by team. So, product component or department. So, it's higher level thing. So, areas. So, it represents a team structure. So, for example, so project. So, project is your area. So, it contains a front end team, back end team, mobile team, DevOps team. Area helps filter the backlogs, assign ownership and track team specific progress. Now, iteration, so time based. Iteration is execution of your sprint, a time period in which your sprint starts and ends. Iterations organize work into defined time period for delivery. For example, release 1.0, sprint 1, May 1st to 14. So sprint 2, May 15 to 20. Sprint 3, to May 29 to 11 in June. Iterations enable the velocity tracking, capacity planning, and predictable delivery. It will avoid uncertain chore or uncertain situations. Right. So put it all together. So product backlog, epics, feature storage, and partitions. Sprint planning, select items, break into tasks. Sprint execution, daily stand-up and collaboration, review and retrospect meeting. This is just an, you can say, meeting where we have the demo, inspect, adapt process, increment, shippable product with a new value. तो क्या आएगा इसके ट्रांसपेरेंसी आएगी इंस्पेक्शन आएगा अडॉप्शन आएगा अर्ली चेंजेस को एब्सॉर्ब करना इजी हो जाएगा तो यहाँ पर एक एग्जांपल से समझते हैं जैसे एपिक है एपिक में हमने बोल दिया स्टूडेंट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम So Epic is a big to complete in one sprint. So it may have the modules like student, payment, attendance, reports, notes. Online training issue portal will have the Epics like student admission, course management, fees management reports. So Epic will be very large, can take weeks or months. contains multiple features. So what is features? So feature is specific capability inside Epic. So for example, in Epic Student Management System, so features can be student registration, student search, update, student report. For e-commerce application, they go with Epic is order management. So place order, track order, cancel order are the features. The features are small than Epic, deliverable functions or functionalities, contains user stories. The user story describe what user want to buy. So I am a user, I am feature, so that this. So I want to register so that I can enroll in the course. This is one example of as a student, I want to register so that I can enroll in the course. As an admin, I want to search the student so that can I quickly find out the records. So what are the characteristics of user story? User focus, business language, defines requirement. Task. Task is the actual work that is assigned to developer, designer. So example, user story. As a student, I want to register. The task will be create student table, create registration API, create registration GUI, write unit test. The task one is assigned to developer one, task two will be assigned to developer two and three and so on. The characteristic task will be always technical, small and measurable, assigned to team members. Now अगर hierarchy देखोगे तो Epic student management system features student registration, user story as a student I want to register so that I can enroll, task create, database table, create API, create UI, write task. Now bug. So bug is defect or problem inside the software. Application issue, registration page crashes. Example. So bug item will have the title, priority, assigned to developer, or assigned to a specific developer. Examples. So bug login button not working. Excuse me. Sorry. So bug. So bug is a defect or problem in the software, like registration page crashes or registration page throws exception. Then we can assign the bug to specific developer. So कुछ example है यहाँ पर bug का sprint. So sprint basically is a fixed time period for completing the work, like usually 1 week, 2 week, or 3 weeks. Sprint one is student registration API, student registration UI, unit testing. Timeline. So day one development, day two development, day three testing. So therefore you can have a timeline for your sprint with them. Fine. Now let's go to workflow. So workflows का क्या example है? New, active, close, resolve, deploy. Depend on the what we are doing. तो bug है तो bug का workflow थोड़ा सा different हो जाएगा. Epic will have a different workflow. So states the actual state of your, we can set work items like to do, in progress, testing, done. Fine. So यहाँ पर वापस से hire की दिया. तो इसको एक बार समझ लेते हैं लास्ट एंड देन विल गो टू द डेमो. तो स्टूडेंट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम आपका सब एपिक है. तो फीचर स्टूडेंट रजिस्ट्रेशन, यूजर स्टोरी है. एज अ स्टूडेंट आई वांट टू रजिस्टर सो दैट आई कैन एनरोल. उसमें टास्क में देखोगे तो क्रिएट एपीआई, सो क्रिएट यूआई, क्रिएट डेटाबेस. स्प्रिंट वन में देखोगे तो वर्क फ्लो, सो न्यू, एक्टिव, क्लोज. स्टेट में इन प्रोग्रेस. इजी मेमोरी ट्रिक, सो याद रखने का आसान तरीका. एपिक जो है बिग गोल है. फीचर कैपेबिलिटी है. यूजर स्टोरी यूजर नीड है. टास्क डेवलपर वर्क है. बग प्रॉब्लम है. स्प्रिंट इज टाइम बॉक्स एंड वर्क फ्लो इज द प्रोसेस फ्लो. स्टेट इज द करंट पोजीशन. ठीक है. तो इसको कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट करना है यहाँ पर स्टेप दिए. तो विल गो टू दिस. Now at the first step, so what you need to do, so you need to go to dev.azure.com. So dev.azure.com में जाएंगे यहाँ पर. Now if you scroll down here, तो यहाँ पर आप scroll down करोगे तो it will show you the features. क्या features है जो नहीं, क्या करें DevOps में, क्या क्या अभी नई चीजें उसमें आई हैं. अभी बहुत एडवांस हो गई. नाउ प्राइसिंग में जाएंगे यहाँ पर. तो built into cloud with Azure account. Azure account से भी आप एक्सेस कर सकते हैं. तो यहाँ पर सीधा प्राइसिंग करोगे तो दो ऑप्शन है आपके पास. यू कैन यूज Azure DevOps service from Azure portal or from cloud. Azure DevOps server, so you can download, install and configure locally on your, you can say, machine. तो यहाँ पर उसका कॉस्टिंग है. so how you go for this license. and Azure DevOps service का जो प्राइसिंग है यहाँ पर है. So we have this Azure pipelines. So individual services में 2 GB free, then $2 GB per, so $6 GB per user per month user license में basic plan में. So you can just go through this pricing. What is your requirement, उसके हिसाब से आप देखो जो भी है. तो you just add this. So it will calculate the cost. So cost calculate कर लेगा आपको क्या चाहिए, कितना चाहिए, उसके हिसाब से देखिएगा. ठीक है. So first 5 users for additional users and $52 per user per month. ठीक है. तो ये सारी चीजें हैं. इसमें क्या इंक्लूडेड है क्या आप देख लो. तो यू कैन से यू विल गेट 30-day फ्री ट्रायल अगर आप नए अकाउंट से रजिस्टर हो रहे तो. इफ यू आर यूजिंग योर एग्जिस्टिंग Azure अकाउंट तो आपके सब्सक्रिप्शन पर डिपेंड है कि उसमें फ्री ट्रायल बचा है क्या. अगर बचा है तो उसमें चल जाएगा, नहीं तो यू नीड टू पे और यू नीड टू क्रिएट. So we can say another new account. Excuse me again. Sorry. तो नए अकाउंट से रजिस्टर करेंगे तो ये 30 days पीरियड. एग्जिस्टिंग अकाउंट से करेंगे तो जो भी आपका सब्सक्रिप्शन में, उस सब्सक्रिप्शन के हिसाब से वो करेगा काम. ठीक है. Excuse me again. Sorry again. So you can go for free trial और आप आपके Azure के account में जाके वहां से भी. So you can say portal.azure.com if you already have account with the Azure. So you can use that. At the first step, you need to create the organization. तो जैसे आप अभी जो पेज आया था यहाँ पर, so we'll say open Azure DevOps. यहाँ पर क्लिक करेंगे. So I'm already logged in. At the first step, it will ask you to create the organization. तो मैं ऑलरेडी लॉग इन हूँ, मैंने ऑलरेडी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बना रखा है. I'll use that. तो यहाँ पर आपको कंटिन्यू करके you need to put the name of your organization and the country, and then you can continue this. So once you create the organization, यहाँ से कर सकते हैं जो अभी मैंने आपको पेज दिखाया वहां से. तो कहाँ जाना है? सो dev.azure.com. तो प्राइसिंग में जाना है. प्राइसिंग में यहाँ पर Azure DevOps सर्विसेज में जाके 30-day फ्री ट्रायल में जाके यहाँ से आप ओपन Azure DevOps कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. So it will take you to the page where you need to create an organization. ठीक है, अभी नहीं आएगा, क्रैश हो गया. या फिर you can go to your Azure portal. तो Azure login में जाके यहाँ पर आप DevOps सर्च कर सकते हैं. एंड DevOps में you'll get the DevOps organizations. इस पर क्लिक करेंगे तो यहाँ पर बटन आएगा, so view my organization. इस पर क्लिक करोगे तो it will take you to your organization page. If you have any organization inside your DevOps subscription, so it will open this. तो यहाँ पर इसने ओपन कर दिया. So मेरे पास ऑलरेडी मैंने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बना रखा है, so I take ऑलरेडी नाम का. So you can create a new organization from that. The new organization के लिए you need to just input that information. अभी जो स्क्रीन आई थी वही आएगी वापस. So organization name, country, and you need to select your subscription. Okay. So I'll not create the new organization, so I'll just click on the existing organization here. And in the existing organization, so excuse me. So यहाँ पर, so when you go to the organization homepage, so here it will ask you to create a project. तो यहाँ पर आप project create कर सकते हैं. So I'll put a project name, suppose redesigning of our tech website. किस नाम देंगे? जो भी नाम देना है आपको. डिस्क्रिप्शन डाल सकते हैं. Redesign new responsive mobile friendly tech website with new process and trend. So you can put the visibility private. So if you want to make the public, you need to go for GitHub. So GitHub से आपको कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा. Now in advance, the version control system, previously it was having two version control systems, Git and TFS, sorry, GTM, and the work item process. So which template you want to use? Agile. So if you use the Agile, so you will get the epics, user story, features, backlog, everything. If you go for the basic, it will have shorter version like you can say Kanban or CMI, CMMI में जा सकते हैं या Scrum में भी आ सकते हैं. Right now, I'll keep the basic here. We'll say create the project. So this is your project dashboard. Now, if you look at here, so project dashboard, the project has wiki. So wiki will help you to generate, manage the documentation. Boards जो हम देखने वाले हैं. So work item, boards, backlog, sprints, queries like this. Reports, so files, commits, pushes, branches, and pipelines, and test plans and artifacts. So by default, if you go to the dashboard, right now there is nothing in the dashboard. You can create the dashboard as per your requirement. Now I'll go to the board here. Now once you go to the board, the first thing that we'll get is work items. So we need to create the work items here. Then we have the board. Then we have the backlog, sprints, queries, delivery plans, and everything. So I'll go to the work item. So work item will help you to create the work items. So if you click on this button, you'll find only three work items because we are using a basic template. So if you use the Scrum template, you'll find many work items. If you use the Agile, you'll find few more additional. Now suppose we'll create an epic. We'll put the name for this epic here. So we'll say erratic website or redesign. आपका जो रिक्वायरमेंट है उसके हिसाब से आप बनाओ. So want to design fully responsive website. You can have the description here. This is the name. So right now scope is to do. So area is redesigning erratic website. Iteration is erratic website here. So reason add to backlog. So by default it's add to backlog. Now priority. So priority will help you to define the priority for this particular, we can say epics. So one is highest or is lowest, so it's like the second start date. This epic को कब start करना? You want to start it from tomorrow and you want it to be ended on the 4th June. So if you have some existing work item, you can link this epic to that item. Right now, you do not have, so you can assign this epic to some member, so team member. Now, you'll find these users here from your. So the users should be added to your organization. So if you go to the portal.azure.com, I'll go to the users here. तो यहाँ पर मैंने ऑलरेडी यूजर कर रखे हैं, क्रिएट किया है, नरेश संदीप. So those users will be available. So suppose if I assign this to Sandeep, you can add the tags like website redesign. If you want to add any tag, you can search it by tag later on. So let's just save, we'll say back to work items, you'll find the work item. Then work item. So we'll create the issue for design homepage. And we'll assign this to suppose Sandeep. We can add a tag for homepage design. For description, design homepage with sections like header, whatever description that you want to put. Now, body, hero section, and footer. So same thing that we have here. So priority, effort. Now link this particular issue to our epic. And to link this particular issue to epic, we'll say add existing work item as a parent. And we'll select our epic here. So erratic website designer. Redesigning, we'll say add this. You can add some comment. Now also save here. Just to go back to work items and you'll find design homepage is available here. Now icon is different. Now you can create a menu issue like this. So I'll say design about page. Now यहाँ पर you can, if you do not want to assign here, you can skip it. Now I'll add the link to again designing. This is save. So you can create such multiple issues. Now in the issues, we can add the task. So here we'll say create top header. And the top header, so you can say create a top header to display a mobile number, email ID, and a group demo button. So we can have the priority here. We can link this to, we can say, homepage designing task. Now I'll add link. Now I'll assign this to, we can say, myself. Now also save back to work items. You'll find your task get created, create top header. Now you can create another task like create hero section. So create a big animated hero section with call to action. Now I'll link this to homepage again and assign to me, and we'll go back to this. Now I'll create one more task for another issue. Create portfolio section. Add a portfolio section in about page to display popular products. Also popular courses. We'll put it inside the about page. Now I'll assign this to suppose Sandeep. We can save. So we can create such items here. So you can also do this from boards. Now, if you go to the boards, you'll find these two things created here. So one is design homepage and another is design about page. So how many completed tasks? 0 out of 2, 0 out of 1. Now you can also add the task from here, new item, and you can add this and the task. Now you can also change the view here. Now right now is issue, so view is issue. So when you click on that, it will add the issue. Now if you click on the epic view, so it will change the view here. Rather time there. You can have a look at to this. तो यहाँ पर अगर देखोगे अभी इशू का जो स्टेट है तो क्या है टू डू डूइंग डन तो यू कैन ऐड दिस टू इटरेशन इसको आप इटरेशन में ऐड कर सकते हैं बैकलॉग में भी डाल सकते हैं ठीक है तो बैकलॉग और इटरेशन में ऐड कर सकते हो so if I add this to sprint 1 and if I add this to again sprint 1 here now you can move this to from to do to doing to done as per your requirement. As per that, it will change the count here. Okay. Now, if you go to the backlogs here, so you'll find these two backlogs. And here you'll find the sprint. So we have this status of sprint 1. You can add more sprint. Now here also we can change the view. So we can go for issues and epics view. So issue और epics view में switch से कुछ नहीं होगा. Workflow change हो जाएगा. तो पूरा epic आ रहा और issues को उसके अंदर के individual issues आ रहे. तो यहाँ पर भी epic में जा सकते हैं. There are many options. You can experiment with them. तो sprint में जाओगे तो you'll find the detailed time-based task board. So this is your, we can say, first issue, and these are the tasks between that issue. This is again issue, and then this is the task here. Here also you can move the task to any of the box, doing, done. So if you go to backlog, it will show this in the backlog form instead of task board. Capacity. So capacity allowed to define how many hours your team member can work per day. So how many days it can allot. Now, first we can have the activity. So what activity will be performed by this particular person? Suppose we say development here. And then we'll have the capacity per day so that I can work 6 hours per day. You can add other things here. So other activities. So that I want to working on testing for 2 hours. So यहाँ पर add कर सकते हैं. Now you're not getting the Sandeep here because Sandeep is not the part of this particular team. So what we need to go, we'll go to the project settings. In the project setting, we'll go to the teams here and we'll say, click on this particular team. And here we'll say add button. And here we'll add the members. So we'll say, so we had already created those users in Azure portal. Now also save here. Indirectly, those should be the member of your organization. Now then if we go back to the boards. So you'll find capacity here. Refresh. Let me check. So काम असाइन किया है यहाँ पर running home page. We need to add it by clicking on the add user button. Then we can define the role, how many hours in a week. You can add day off. So if you want to take the holiday, you can add the holiday calendar from 20 to, we'll say, 29 to 30. I'm on the holiday of them. So all this you can configure here from the capacity. Analytics, we'll get the analytics here. And we have the task board. And we can switch this particular thing from this sprint. So sprint is just like your boards, but it's time based. So more detail. So how much time a developer will allocate, and then how much time you can work. Now queries. So queries will help you to find anything inside your project. So based on various conditions, so I clicked on the new query. Now here we can add any parameters in the query with any operator. To change date, I don't want to change date. Suppose if I say work item, and in the work item, if I say task, and I'll say remove this. So I want to query all the tasks. So run query that will show you the task. Now you can save this query. So it's a demo. Now you can go to the chart and we can create a new chart, suppose pie chart. So we can have pie chart for assigned to, so count value. You can configure the parameters and we can create a save chart here, pie chart. Now we can put it into okay. You can browse all the queries here. What are the queries that had chosen? You can browse the charts. Here we can create a delivery plan. So you can add a new plan and you can find out name of the plan, description, project, team, backlog, epics or issues. So criteria. So you can add the delivery plan here. Now analytics view right now. So we'll just get some information. So last 26 days, last days, kya hua, kya nahi. Now if I go to the boards, sorry, if I go to the board, we'll get the complete overview here. Now if I go to the dashboard here, so we can add any widget. So I'll just drag and drop the thing. It will create this doing, done, task. So build history, bandwidth. So many things will be there. So you can create your, you can say, custom dashboard as per your requirement. So that you will get the summary view of your project by clicking on the post. So this is about the boards. तो ये boards के बारे में तो आज इसको यही छोड़ रहे हैं. तो कल हम इसको वापस से कंटिन्यू करेंगे. Tomorrow we will go for the repos. तो कल हम repos के साथ काम करेंगे. Full push, branches, commits, whatever the thing that we have. Then we go for the test plan or pipelines. तो आज जो मैंने बताया उसमें कोई डाउट है, क्वेरी है तो प्लीज फटाफट